considered it but decided against it.
Go do crime. But you're listening. Oh my god, that is a lot of character. Oh, dude, my fucking. Oh, it's not alphabet. Bro. Thank God I know what number. It's after the samba. Oh, dang. I have recorded yours. You recorded my response, Noni! Talk about you. Show off the hole.
Alright. Later.
では、前に出ます。
Ewa. Hello, chat. Where's yesterday's art? What did I do with that? There it is. All right, chat. The tweet is live. Do me the favor, go give that some love. Let me refill my water real quick here, and I'll be back. Okay. Ugh. Whoops. Sorry if that made it through the mic. Grab you guys today's art. Hello, Yugi. How's it going? Hello, everybody. Here is today's artwork. Go give the artist some love. Today is a chill day for a couple of reasons. One, me kind of tired. Two, nothing happened in FGO. So we don't really have too much that we have to do today. Today I'm going to focus on getting the CQ on JP done. Kind of wrapping up the Guda 6 event. Obviously, we have more in the way of like JP stuff to do, but the event has to get done first a little bit. Nothing new today? Yeah, we didn't get any news. Song is this? I believe this is Zoltrak. Yep. Zoltrak. It's from Freyren. Good song. And yeah. Like, I, on the other hand, have some stuff. But that's because today, chat, I put out a new poll that I would like you guys to fill out. Oh, that didn't pop open how I wanted it to. Okay, we're gonna pin that. Then let me grab it, throw it on the YouTube side for you guys as well. There we go. Yeah, we should be good now. But how's everybody doing today? How was everyone's day? How was you guys' week going? Because y'all know how mine's going. Really interested in the vid that the poll will lead to? Yeah, I have some ideas for what I want to do with it. It's I thought this would be a fun idea. So like it was just one of those things where I was like, hey, maybe I can start doing more content like this. And I kind of was like sitting there trying to think of like ideas. You guys know I've done this several times now, but like this is one of those ideas that I hit on. I was like, well, this will just be fun for everyone, basically. And so far, the community's reacting nicely to it. I put it on my community post on YouTube. I put it out on Twitter as well, and y'all know it was literally in the Discord. It was just hanging out there for a while, both in the announcements and the in the announcements in the CAD chat section and in just FGO general. So everybody should have seen it, but just in case people didn't, maybe you guys have been busy at work today. I figured, hey, talk about it here. But it is just a simple choice of pick your poison, as Bob put it. It's quite literally just you have one choice. Who is your favorite character in FGO? And it's like, ooh. We did have a couple little issues with it at first. Apparently we forgot like 20 of the characters. And then in talking with Bob, I also realized that like there was some stuff that like we needed to shore up. And so it's interesting because like the first handful of people that voted, we're gonna have to go back and like manually add them due to a change that we made, but it is what it is. Simply says it won't be that hard. It's just one of those deals of like Bob basically put together the form for me, and I like looked at it, but I like admittedly I didn't go through it myself and like check off that he had every single one. I just relied on him. And I realized, Bob, probably the like what should have been the tell is that one time when you were like, hey, we just barely have 400 units. Because I remember you saying that, and I was like, no, that should have been our sign. We were missing something. And I didn't think about it back then. I voted within the first 20 minutes. Should I revote, or is that not a thing? You can't revote. Like I said, just the first couple people that voted will have to like hand add them to the totals, but that's all it is. When did I release the poll? This morning. There's over like let me see. We're coming up on 200 responses to it. So you're definitely getting a lot of traction for it. It's not a major issue if you didn't notice your favorite servant missing. And I don't think most people did. Like, well, now hold on. Bob, are you seeing what I'm seeing? I think mine's bugging out because I now see an other category. And there absolutely shouldn't be an other category. Although what may have happened is we may have hit the actual, like... I think that's what happened. I think... So it does like a pie chart breakdown, and there are so many that I don't think it can display them all, so I think it just lumped a bunch in as other. That's so, like... It'll be interesting, to say the least, but... It's me, I'm other, yeah, like... I don't know why, I just, like, all of a sudden I was like, hold on, that's weird. I'm also going to say, I've already noticed something fucking hilarious just since putting this on stream. A certain character absolutely just got, like, multiple votes. So, like, I see you, chat. I see how it is. That's gonna be one hell of a pie chart. It is. It's I can't describe it to you other than it is a myriad of colors. Sign in? Yeah, you have to sign in just so that we can't have multiple votes by people. I guess in theory, people could game the system by creating multiple accounts, but I don't know. It's like at that point, if you're willing to go that far, I guess fine, you managed to do it, but also we'll probably notice you doing that and be able to weed your answer out. So it was just one of those things where, like, we put up a simple barrier, but we didn't expect it to, like, completely prevent everything. Yeah, we don't get to see, like I get to see individual responses, but I don't get to see who made the response. If that makes any sense, chat. Like, I won't know that you cheated. I'll just know that someone cheated. That makes any sense. But I look, chat, let me state this. This is one of the reasons I wanted to restrict it to just one answer. Because I've seen people today and they're like, Cad, what are you doing? You can't just make it one. That's so unfair. And I'm like, I hear you. I understand. However, there's only one. You have to pick one. Pick. And the reason why is, again, like, yeah, we're just trying to be as fair as possible. But it's been eye-opening already just seeing some of the results. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think, like, it makes me feel so much better. It really does. Because that pie chart is freaking gigantic. It's not as, like, homogenous as people would lead you to believe the community is. So that's actually really cool to me. I like that. Because I think people have their, like, oh, well, this is my second, my third, my fourth, my fifth favorite character, and I'm going to stump for them, and I'm going to act like I'm part of the bandwagon. But when you have to choose only one, it's interesting to see what people's choices are. I have to decide between two. Yeah. There's just a bunch I really, really like a lot, but ultimately I have to say no to because they're not my number one. Exactly. Yes. And that's where it's like, I like seeing this. It actually, I think this is going to be eye-opening for the community. It's going to literally drill down to just like, this is what people's favorites are. Which is going to be really curious to see. And I don't want anyone to think about this because I did see some people that are worried, like, oh, this is just going to be a popularity contest. I'm like, it'll turn into that to some degree, right? Like, there's going to be characters that, like, just because they are more popular, they have more votes, right? However, that's not what I'm after here. I'm not trying to be like, ha ha ha, this character got all the votes, therefore they're the best. Like, it's nothing like that. This is just literally purely analytical. How many answers have I gotten? We're almost up to 200. Correction, we're over 200. Up in the canyon. The pie chart's going to be 100% Lartoria. That would be a good meme. That's what we could start the video out with. We could do the Jeb Bush meme, but it's all Lartoria. Did it go over 20 votes in like 5 minutes? Shit, it did. It did, yeah. Yeah, I figured like some of chat just would not have either seen it or had the time to answer. And that's why, like, honestly, it's a good thing. It's like, that's the power of like talking about something on stream as opposed to me just trying to like social media it. It's more personal, it's more in your face, it's more present, right? So I get it. And it's definitely why I've learned over the years. It's like, if I want something done, if I want to promote something, I have to promote it on stream. I can't do it passively. And I checked YouTube posts because, impatient. Damn, he's learning. Yeah, so like, this is the other thing I've been doing, chat. For those of you guys in the YouTube side, you've probably already noticed this, but for the Twitch only crowd, you probably haven't. I have been way more active on YouTube lately. Way more. Like, I am answering people's questions actively. I'm doing community posts. That's like, and admittedly, it has been very hard right now because trying to juggle everything just is like making me run ragged. But it's also one of those deals where, like, I should have been doing it all along. And so it's helping. I know it is. I have faith that it is. Yeah, I'm trying to do like it doesn't have to be like an everyday sort of thing, but I'm trying to do like daily community posts. That way, like, y'all are kept in the loop, because I realized, like, this is just kind of one of the issues, is I haven't been paying enough attention to YouTube, and so y'all feel like the redheaded stepchild, and I don't want you to. Mr. Ventus, thank you for the big 7-0. Dead man walking indeed. Chat, can we get some love for my old editor, Mr. Ventus? I came from YouTube, started watching there first, just came to Twitch because the chat's better. That is true. However, I'm also going to say, feel free to go back to YouTube. We don't want... No, I'm just kidding. Feel free to go back to YouTube from the standpoint of it takes people chatting over on YouTube for the YouTube chat to be better, right? But I also am going to tell you, go wherever you guys feel like more at home, right? Wherever you feel more comfortable. Like, you can come over to Twitch if you want. You can go over to YouTube if you want. It does not bother me. Also, YouTube crowd, can you guys tell me, is there an actual, like, membership button on my channel? Because, like, I thought I had turned that shit on, but, like, YouTube keeps screaming at me to, like, finish the setup. And I'm like, I did. So I don't know if it's actually, like, on or not. Because that's probably something I need to figure out if I haven't. Thanks for answering questions. Oh, yeah. No, half the time, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Sometimes y'all ask a question that I don't want to answer. Sometimes y'all ask a question that I have a hard time answering. Sometimes y'all ask a question that, like, I just don't know the freaking answer to. And, like, it would take me sitting down and researching it myself. And there's no problem with that, but I will try to answer every question that I can within reason. And so it's like, as long as you guys don't have a big ask, either me or, like, you know, again, sometimes I'll throw a question over to like Avalon or Okayest if you guys had it. Like, somebody had a question today on, like, what was the song that we used in the Ryoma vid, and Okayest sometimes puts the song credits in there when it's required for, like, DMCA purposes. But he didn't on that one, so I assumed it just, like, that particular song didn't require it because it's usually a rights issue. And so it's like, I didn't know the answer. So I just had to, like, send that over to Okayest and be like, if you know it, you answer, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to answer every single question, but usually if you get a response from either me, Okayest, or Avalon, it probably just means that, like, in some way, shape, or form, I'm condoning it anyways. They're part of my crew at this point, so. Dad finally came home with milk, indeed. Old call me ancient. You're old. What am I going to do with the poll? We're going to make a video out of it. You'll see. I don't want to, like, completely spoil everything about it. I want to give you guys some amount of entertainment value. I don't think the membership is on. Not sure, though. Okay. Yeah, that's like... I assume something went wrong, the actual setup of the membership page, and that's the issue with it. I don't see memberships. Okay. Yeah, that'll be something I'll try to do in the next, like, probably week, I guess, because, like, I got to get through this week first. Really, our deadline is next Tuesday, and technically that's actually, like, for the first time ever, that's not our deadline, because Florida has a different set due to disaster exemptions, which is very rare. I can't remember in all of my years of accounting them ever, like, we've had disaster extensions before, but it usually happens extending the tail end of a year, not the first deadline of a year, because you have to be paid in by the first deadline of the year. They usually never extend that one because, like, heaven forbid you don't pay the government their money that you owe them right away. If you don't do that, the government will absolutely throw a shit fit normally. But so, like I said, the first time ever in my remembrance, they've actually done that this time. So it's really weird. But we're still trying to behave like it's the normal deadline. YouTube asking the questions that make you pull out the ancient text archives for the answers. Sometimes, I'm gonna be real with y'all, sometimes you'll ask a question and I will just defer you to another one of my videos. Because if I know the answer is there, I'm not going to take the time to explain it myself. Because I already did. That is the point of my videos. Which I think is probably something else I need to do a better job of at some point. I could probably tap Okayest with it, but I think it'd probably be better if I myself do it because I was there when the content was originally created and I know the logic behind it. But it's like, I probably need to go back through and actually, like, reorganize some of my videos so that they're more presented to you, because that's one of the issues I think people have now is I have a video on, like, so many topics that people don't know what I have a video on. It's like, it's easier for me to think about what I don't have a video on than it is for me to think about what I do have a video on. Because odds are, any question you can ask, it's been covered in one of my videos. The only ones that aren't are, like, very specific scheduling questions. And that is what I get a good chunk of questions about. So. Memberships aren't there? Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I wanted to know because I thought I had set that up a long time ago. Like this was like months ago. And I was just like, that's super weird. I don't know why it's like I would have figured by now, not this is going to sound like conceited, right? But I would have figured by now I would have had like one membership, right? Not saying that like I expect to be rolling in memberships. Just I would have thought like after months of streaming on YouTube, at least one person would have been like, hey, you know what? That Kadroth guy's all right. I'll subscribe. And then I started to think about it and I was like, is it just not working? Is that what it is? Like, have I just not actually set it up? And I think that is what it is. So that's on me. Which is faster, Castoria Ascension 1, 2, or 3? All right, do you want the correct answer or do you want the actual like down and dirty nitty gritty answer? Because I can answer both. The actual answer is to my understanding, the second ascension is the fastest ascension on Castoria. However, the correct answer is that none of that shit matters in the slightest because at best you are shaving like 1 second. Not even. So like, don't bother with it. I still remember a dude on Reddit put up a complaint post asking people after Castoria came out to put their Castorias, like everybody on support, put your Castoria in second ascension. That person got laughed at by the entire community because everyone was like, no. And it's like, I understand people trying to shave time. I'm going to tell you guys this flat out. If you are looking at running a 6-slot comp for 90 plus versus 6-slot for 90 plus, and the 90 plus comp you're looking at involves a Castoria NP or double Castoria NPs even. If it involves a Castoria NP at all, there is no amount of time you can save that will ever make it faster than just running the 90 plus. The 90 plus will absolutely lap the ever-loving shit out of you. You will get more drops from doing the 6 slot of the 90 plus, but the person running the 90 plus will get the drops faster than you. So they're just going to lap you and become more efficient. That is just the sad nature of it, right? So I'm all for like cutting down time and cutting down button presses, but there's only so much that can actually be done. And at the end of the day, you are just going to be beholden to the node that you're running and the comp that you're running. And no amount of like, hey, let me switch which ascension I'm in. Let me like try to like shave things by not pressing the skill. It's not going to like dramatically speed it up. In fact, I'd go so far as to say usually the entire reason why I try to shave skills is not due to time. It's literally due to making the comp as brainless as possible. I like brainless comps. There is definitely something to be said about like, don't make me press a lot of buttons, because then I can just go ha 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 as I like watch anime or like, you know, watch something on Netflix or something. Need another Panini comp. Exactly. It's like, bro, you give me that like that 3-4 button press comp, I'm good. I will just sit there and I will veg out and run that 1,000,000 times over. Choosing first or second, so third is just fresher for me. Yeah, that's fine. But I wanted to clarify. It's like, hey, here's the actual answer. Here's the correct answer. They're the same, but like they're different. Mr. Creamy, thank you for the 76. Chat, if you haven't already followed Mr. Creamy, go do so. He's a good buddy of mine. Bro. I like mash every button comps. There's something to be said about what we like to call a down the line comp. What does that mean, chat? A down the line comp is one in which, so like, let's imagine this is a character, this is a character, and this is a character, okay? Here, we'll do it like that. And then like and then how should I, well, what should I do for the last one? Okay. Now, I didn't need to do all that, but I just wanted to. Here are your skills, chat. A down the line comp is one in which you press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's your comp. You literally just go left to right and just go boom, 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 and then you don't have to do anything else. Yeah, it's like you might do like your Mystic Code or something like that, but like that is what's considered a down the line comp. Yeah, it's a lot of button presses, but it's brainless. It's brainless. Because you just get in the habit of always doing it in that order, and you make very few mistakes when you do it that way. Doubly so if you can do it all turn one. Turn one down the line comp, so easy. Artist top tier, you should quit your job and become a full-time artist. Have you ever typed in exclamation point artwork? It lets you see today. It lets you see today's artwork. You excited for a Nemo lotto? No, because that's like 8 months from now. I'm not thinking about the lotto after the current upcoming lotto. So you can't use Oberon. Not in a down the line. Not in a true down the line comp now. Sorry, I needed that for reasons. No, you're fine. I see everyone's too afraid to type in exclamation point artwork. It's okay. I understand. I wouldn't want to either. After all, it terrifies me. No! Hold on. The link doesn't work. Now it does. D chat. Do I not have a consistent art style? Am I not truly an artist? Like, this is just, this should have won the art contest for the summer barbecue one. And I'm still upset because LaSingle has never gotten back to me about it. Are you not entertained, right? The Zashu face in the bottom left kills me, right? Didn't I accurately like capture the essence of Gilgamesh? Like, he truly is inspirational. My day looks pretty good. Who the heck is my day? Why does King Hassan have laser eyes? Because he always does. Hunkai Star Rail Gil? So like shitty like Chinese knockoff Gil. You let Da Vinci in shame. What do you mean? There is no Da Vinci. But wait, hold on. Which one of these do you think is Da Vinci? Timu Gil? No. Oh, they killed Ku. Well, like, Herc is parading Ku around while he chases a butterfly with his nipples out. And then chat, this is you. Like, over here. Is this the next Grand Carnival OVA? Yes. Yes. I just love showing this to chat every once in a while because we get new people and they haven't seen this. They haven't realized just how artistically talented I am. Like, chat, y'all know I'm a pretty humble guy when it comes to most things. But if there's one thing I won't be humble about, it's my raw, unbridled artistic talent. There is nobody else out there that does it like I do. Okay? And you can see why I'm so confident when you gaze upon the glory that is this image. None better, none humbler. Yeah, I mean, I feel like at least to some degree, I'm pretty humble about this because, like, personally, I don't say this often, but I think this belongs being, like, hung within, like, the, like, front atrium of the Louvre. Okay, like, it's something that, like, everyone should go see. Or, like, better yet, they should actually just take down the Mona Lisa and put this up in its place. I feel like it would draw bigger crowds. Have you tried to turn this image into a Ghibli style with AI? I don't know that I could do this image justice with a description. Because, like, you would have to type in a prompt, and how does one describe the essence and the, like, pure cathartic nature of this piece? Who is Gil burning? Well, technically Gil's not burning, he's just cooking himself a hot dog. It's just like, you know, somebody happens to be getting burned at the stake. Are all the Ilya Fest box mats dead to you? Yes. Long story short, yes. Certainly unique, indeed. It's truly a magnificent, awe-inspiring piece of art. Like, I feel like that artwork puts the fear of God in people for many reasons. I think, like, they're just they are struck by its like holy majesty as they gaze their eyes upon it. Wait, why am I going to the end of the event? I don't need the event. It's one of the pictures of all time. It truly is. It truly is. I love hauling that picture out. It's so great. Chad, I switched to doing Jaguar Force because I realized what I truly need is obsidian blades. I definitely needed like some sun scales, but I think I'm good. Let me double check. Like, did I finish Cuckoo? I think I did. Shit. Just kidding. Right back. Back to the plains. Farming an LB7, just like the last video I see. That's right. I'm doing pretty good, Vin. How are you? Honestly, I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. Oh my god, who put this in the song request? Where is my Zenobia? Nope, that's not Zenobia. There. She's bond 5. Who else can I bond? I don't really want to bond grind her, but I will. Cream is going to be useful for a lot of things. Are we chilling yet? I'm always chill. Just doing interludes that I've been sitting on for a bit. Yeah. Hold on, chat. I got to re-plug it because it broke the capture card. Just pitied Draco? That's how I'm doing? Oof. Well, I guess... So, you can look at it glass half empty or glass half full. Glass half empty is like, damn, it took that much to get Draco. Glass half full is remembering that pity didn't used to exist in FGO and realizing that for better or worse, at least now you have her. That's how I like to think about a lot of things. I just finished the shop now. Some time to do interludes. Yeah. Like, NA, I'm good. I'm just literally sitting here on the free quest and farming. JP, I have like too much to do. Glad I got her, but man, yep. It's a thing. Story only, no buffs would read. Yeah, I saw someone the other day saying that they thought that like Morgan could use an interlude, and I'm like, I think so too. I think as much like hyper fixation as they've had on the LB6 units, I hate to say it, but it would have just been better if they actually wrote some story interludes for them, because I think that's what people actually want, and people want more of their story explained, more depth given to that sort of stuff. I need to get Mordred's buff done. I can tell you guys right now, you're going to want to do Mordred's and Caskills. Caskills is really good. Oh, god damn it. Did I? Okay, she crit, thank god. To say I didn't pop the Mystic Code. My Zenobia only in P2. Is she going to be redundant with Castoria Berserker, or does she have a niche of her own? She kind of has a niche of her own, but not really. Like, just about any place you could take Cream, you could take Castoria Berserker too. And to some degree, I'm not going to say any place, but in a lot of the places you can take Castoria Berserker to, you can take Cream to. And say 1200, 1300, yeah. I was gonna say, damn, that would be a lot. I will never slander Pity after that bullshit. Yeah, I don't want to like sound elitist or whalish, but I think you see a lot of criticism of the Pity system, predominantly from people like saying like, "Oh, I'll never hit Pity," and it's like, tell me that you're like a YOLO roller that's free to play that like can't ever save up more than like 200 courts at a time without actually saying that. I'll never save up to hit Pity. That's exactly how you tell me that. Like, and I get it. I understand why people play the game that way, but to me, the best advice that I can give someone is save to Pity. Why? Because it's there. And the alternative is you just not getting the unit. I feel like that is something that a lot of people should think a little bit more about. Oh. God, back when Halo was good. I fumbled math hard, my bad. It's all good. Interlude, don't let me bring my own servants. I mean, it should, but it depends on the interlude. What if you never hit Pity because you're too lucky? Is your name Darty? $900 courts is a lot for free to play, though, even if you don't YOLO roll. I'm not saying it's not a lot, but I am going to say that it's absolutely possible to do. Like, usually it just requires people to actually skip banners. And that is like the thing that I've noticed is players can't do that. They can't skip banners. Like they have to roll everything. And I think a lot of that's just impulse control. People sit there and they go like, "Oh man, like I really like this character. I really liked them in this event. Now I want to roll for this character." And like before they were sitting there thinking like, "Oh, I'm not going to roll for this character." So it's like they get their mind changed, which is the absolute like goal of the game. So it's what the devs are trying to do. But it's like they just keep falling for the trap over and over and over and over again and don't realize that that's what's happening. Now I feel personally attacked. I know. Do summon tickets count for Pity? Yes. God, do you think Barghast will ever get a buff to bring the sun? That's a difficult one. Out of all of the units that can bring the sun, excluding Ozzy, right? Because Ozzy's just his own thing. So it's like excluding Ozzy out of all the units that can bring the sun, Barghast is objectively the best. So they can give it to her, but if they give it to her, they really need to do something for the other. Like they need to do something for Gawain and Summer Gareth. Because they're just absolutely up shit's creek if Barghast can do that herself. Like, basically, there's just no reason to take them at that point. Usually I'm good about it. Yeah, it's not meant as like a personal attack against everyone. I'm just saying like usually the issue where like why people can't save is a willpower issue more than anything. I never hit Pity, but I sure have tried. I have absolutely hit pity. Give Saber Gareth one hell of an NP buff. She really needs it. Saber Gareth is, frankly speaking, I love that little strawberry, but she is one of the worst units in the game. At least with regards to like within her rarity. Okay. And it's not like she's unusable. It's just one of those deals where like she comes in and she is just very, very weak. She's anemic. I think they knew. I think they knew they could get away with it because she was paired alongside Proto Merlin. And so they just looked at that and they said, people are going to roll for her anyways. And they were right. But I think it's one of the big reasons why you never see anyone using her. I see how it is, Chan. I hit pity the first Koyan banner. I regret nothing. Yeah. It's the year that pity came out on JP, I hit pity 3 times. It was not a fun experience, but it's also how I know you can save up to like 3 pities in a year, because at the time I was not spending money on JP outside of GSSRs. So like the fact that I did that in that time taught me everything that I knew about it. And it's one of the reasons why you'll see me push back a lot against people that are like, oh, you can't actually save up to pity. Oh, you can't get but more than 1 pity a year. And I'm like, no, you can. And usually anybody saying that just doesn't actually play the game. And I really do mean that, because I've seen people on Twitter try to make that claim where they're like, oh, you can't save up to more than 1 pity a year. And it's like, yeah, you don't play. That's why. You literally, it's like if you log in every day, if you play the game, if you spin down all of your AP, you do. It's only if you're not doing that you don't. Because where the vast majority of your courts in the game comes from is from bonding, milestone completion, story progress, event completion, logging in for campaigns. Like when you do all of that, you get so much courts. When you don't, you don't. Like if you're just not logging in every day, you're throwing away so much courts a year. It's way more than 900 per year. Oh yeah. I think they should have more safeguards, like every 10 multis, you have a significant increase in a chance of getting a 5-star. There's a reason FGO has a spook rate of only like 20%. And the reason is because it's a flat rate. If they had a ramping rate, you would have a much higher spook rate. Like they would just literally balance everything to try and screw you at that point. Don't forget they give you 60 tickets a year too. It's usually more than that. Unless you're just talking about the amount you buy out of the monthly shop. Four-star pity, though, we need that. I'm a weird one. I'm not entirely sold that 4-star pity is necessary. However, I am A-okay with like saying that we should get some kind of adjustment to 4 stars. Because to me, what they should do is they should go back. They should have 5-star pity not reset. So literally, it just carries from one banner to the next. And then if you do that, because pity doesn't reset, you can actually have banners that have rotations on them again. If you guys notice, the way banners are structured ever since the pity change is every SSR gets their own banner. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what is a bad thing is you don't get any more rotation of 4 stars. So this is why you get banners that have like 3 4-star rate ups on them, and they're just utter dog trash. So if you allow for pity to just carry and not reset, then that means you can go back to having rotational 4-star days where, hey, yeah, there's a day where all 3 of them are on rate up, but then there's a day where 2 of them are on rate up. There's a day where 1 of them is on rate up. And you can have those individual rate ups back again to try to hyper fixate on the character you want. That's the way it used to work before pity, and people didn't have that big of a problem with the 4 stars back then. I'm not saying that people like had some insane rate or anything. There were still times where you would miss the 4-star, but it worked a lot better to the current system and the way it's run now. So to me, that would go a long way to addressing it, especially since they have increased the 4-star rate since pity has been implemented. So I think if they go back to that, that'll be the best of both worlds and everything will be a-okay. But if they don't go back to that, then yeah, I'm all in favor of a 4-star pity because something needs to get done. Like, they are kind of crap in that regard. Ooh, ooh. I agree that FGO should have a safeguard every 100 or so multis, specifically for publicity promotional reasons. Watched a streamer go to pity without a single 5-star and it makes the game look bad. Yeah, I've also watched a streamer go to pity without a single 5-star. But I agree. I think that's like, it's just an issue, right? At the same time, I think FGO gives out a shit ton of free currency, and it's exactly like I talked about. I wonder who. Yeah, I wonder who too. I think everybody wants a better pity system in FGO. Nobody's willing to pay the price, though. What do I mean? FGO is super generous with the amount of currency it gives out. Super generous. And I know people be like, oh, but other games give out currency too. That's fine. It's super generous. If they change the pity rates, if they change the economy of the gacha, you have to understand that is basically begging the devs to just stop giving you as much currency. Because the devs have to make money. They will try to preserve their advantage. Like, asking the devs to give up more money, while I understand that sounds good from a player perspective, it's an absolute non-starter from a business perspective with the devs in mind. Even if the devs themselves were like, hey, you know what? We're down. You have to understand that the people backing the devs, the literal production staff, the actual companies that are over the top of the single, like Aniplex and Sony, would absolutely be against it. So they, like, even if the devs are on your side, they have to submit that to their boss, and their boss is going to say no. I know it sucks. It's just the truth. It's the flat, like, unbiased truth. That is just the way the world works. I'm not saying we can't ever get a change. I'm not saying we can't ever get improvement. But I think the way to look for improvements is usually going to have to come via something small. Like I said, I want them to carry over pity. Do I think they'll actually do that? No. Like, who knows? Maybe for 10th Annie, they'll finally squeeze something like that in. But I just don't know, right? I'm not going to hold my breath for anything like that at this point. Personally think they're way too stingy with the permanent 5 stars. What do you mean? Because, like, I hate to break this to you, but if we were to compare this to most of the other modern gachas, like, we have way more permanent units than most other gachas do. I guess it depends on what you're comparing it to, but... A streamer whose audience isn't primarily FGO viewers. Yeah, that I get, right? Like, I'm not gonna say that, like... I understand the pity system. I understand why it's set at what it is. I understand that it is not popular with the community. I understand, however, that probably the biggest issue with that has to do with the existence of other games, newer games. Because if you look at FGO's pity system, it's designed like older games had. And in that regard, it's not an unfair system in the slightest. But newer games have people basically wanting FGO's pity system to emulate that. However, FGO's economy is way more lucrative and generous than those other games are. And so, in doing that, if you were to ask FGO to change, FGO would have to become a stingy game like some of those others. So it's like, you can do that. But I also understand that that's just an optics thing, and that is an uphill battle for FGO, because trying to convince people of that is a losing battle, right? Like, literally everybody out there, if you ask them, hey, what if we adopted like Genshin style of pity system? Everyone would be like, oh my god, that's so good, we should totally do that. And it just is what it is. Achia's pity is guaranteed pull of the rate up 5-star. That too, yeah. It's like, I'm not gonna argue that it's like it doesn't make the game look bad. I agree with you. I think it does. I think that's just the issue with it, because FGO's pity is set at like 900 quartz. That's rough, right? Like, as opposed to a game where the pity is 300 or sub that, right? That's nasty. Dinner in progress. Nice. Let me know how it turns out. 50/50 is barely gacha. It's just buying the character with a chance of getting it half off. And I do think to some degree that's what people want, right? So this is a like difference of systems, optics, and ideals. Some people would tell you, I would rather just have a set amount and buy the unit and know that I'm always going to get the unit at that set amount, right? Other people would like the risk reward of, yeah, I mean, I went to pity this time, but I literally YOLO luck sacked a single ticket and got this SSR. It is what it is. Basically, some people like to gamble. Some people don't want to gamble at all. Which mentality is correct? I don't know. I think there's just, it's two schools of thought, right? I can't say like, well, this one's more right or this one's more right. Because in FGO's system, we can look at that and we can say, yeah, it's going to take you a lot. You're going to need a lot in order to get all the way to pity. But your odds of actually hitting pity in FGO are actually pretty slim. It's not going to happen to you every time. It's not a common occurrence, though sometimes it will feel like that. Dear Lord, I know. Like I said, I've literally, back when it first came out on JP, and actually at the tail end of last year going into this year, I hit pity on 3 out of 4 banners this year. So that was like, ugh, already, right? But then I think back and it's like, how many times did I not hit pity? And it's like, there's a ton, right? So it happens. It's a thing. It works in streaks. Now, the alternative is a system like Genshin's. And in Genshin's case, you can absolutely have that, where it's like, okay, well, you got your first pity, but that first pity is a 50-50. So 50% of your time, half of all your rolls, you will fail that pity. The other half, you will have to literally go even deeper, go to a second pity in order to hit it. But you will guarantee the unit then. You will have it at this amount. Okay? So the thing that I've noticed about games like Genshin is they are naturally stingy with the amount of currency that they give out. As a result, this often ends up turning more of their player base into pay players. So essentially what this is FGO has a strategy of whales and free-to-plays. There's way more free-to-plays than there are whales in FGO. But the whales spend a ton. The free-to-plays literally spend nothing, right? Because they're free-to-play. Or maybe they're like cheap to play and they only get a GSSR. In a system like Genshin, you will basically end up with a wider thing where everybody is quote-unquote cheap to play. Everybody spends some amount of money. Now, it's not always true. I'm not going to say you can't play Genshin free to play. You can, okay? But this is the thing that I've noticed about setting pity at a lower value. How it works for them is it's an economy at scale, and they actually get more people to buy into the system, thus lessening the need for whales. What's interesting about Genshin is there's still the fucking whale category. So it is what it is. But I've noticed that. It's like the logic behind having a low pity and strangling the economy is to make more of your player base spend money. As opposed to having a high pity with a generous economy, you have more free-to-plays because they just go, okay, either pity is beyond my reach and I'm just never going to try, as you guys have heard from the anecdotes, or, hey, I want this, I'm going to actually whale, because I know that's what's going to take in order to secure it. So, like, it's almost like because the pity is actually set higher, it discourages people from actually, like, pulling out the wallet. But it's like I said, which approach is right? I don't know. Right? I think if you're a free-to-play, FGO's approach is actually better. But if you're okay with spending some amount of money on a game, Genshin's is probably better. Because you look at that and you go like, with a little bit of money, I can go a long way. And then I don't have to be like, it's not the like, oh man, I'm an FGO whale and I just spent 3,000 quartz trying to get the thing that I need. Right? Because, oh boy, after that first pity, man, there's not another one. So, like, that's an issue. And I say that JP has it, but NA doesn't at the moment. So hopefully NA gets it soon. But I have noticed that there's like just a weird relationship. And depending on your viewpoint, you will find one game to be scummy and another game to be completely fair. And it really just depends probably on which one you're playing. FGO is one of the few games that could work because a lot of the characters are perm, so they're really good. Versus games typically have the character's full capabilities locked behind multiple copies. Yeah, so like the idea behind it is, you guys have asked me before, like, hey, should you get like NP2 or NP1, right? And I'll sit there and I'll say like, okay, NP1's fine, or like, I don't know, maybe you need an NP2. And then inevitably somebody in chat goes, NP1 to NP2 is the biggest increase in the game. And my counterpoint, it sounds stupid and snide, but it's always actually NP0 to NP1 is the biggest increase in the game. Which is the truth, right? Like, quite literally, having the unit versus not having the unit is your biggest increase. Literally having the kit is like 90% of the battle half the time, right? Like, okay, God. It's 90% of the battle all the time. I don't know why I said half the time. I literally just pulled a, oh God, what's the news movie with, oh God. Why am I not remembering it? Anchorman. Thank you. Yes. I literally just pulled an Anchorman. 50% of the time it works all the time. So, like, yeah, no, like, it's 90% of the battle is just having the units kit in FGO. And I think that's somewhat true for Genshin, but then you have, like in Genshin, I'd say that's only 50%. Having the unit and having their kit's only 50%, because the kit gets further enhanced. It's not just, oh, your ultimate does more damage. It's literally the extra constellations are also enhancing the capability of the skills. So it's almost like having a skill plus. And I should expect Evo Fest 2 tomorrow because it's the last week of the arcade event. No, probably not. You're probably not getting Evo Fest 2 until the end of the event. Yeah. Wait, did they actually give us the hard date for it? There are a lot of opinions that are free-to-play friendly in FGO, where Hoyo games, it's rough. Yeah, I like I said, I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, FGO is completely in the right, MiHoYo completely in the wrong. I don't like MiHoYo's style. I will be transparent on that. I am not a big fan of how MiHoYo operates their games. But there is definitely some validity to the idea of, like, by having a low pity, I will never get taken to the cleaners, ever, right? Because I will literally just hit that low pity. So that's where it's like there's definitely a leg to stand on from that. And I think, like I said, if you're willing to spend the money, then a low pity works better for you. Maybe they should just increase the 4-star rates to 5%, because slowly have been increasing the 4-star rate for a while now. They have, but that's why I don't expect them to do it again. I would rather see, like you guys said, some sort of quality of life involving the 4 stars rather than tweaking the rate again. Not that, like, I mean, like, chat. Fuck it. Make the 5-star rate 10%. Make the 4-star rate 50%. That would be great for me, right? Like, but it's also one of those deals where, again, thinking as a player, that sounds amazing, but that's actually probably bad for the game and its longevity. That's where you have to start thinking as a developer and being like, well, why won't they do that? That's probably why. Like, it's not a good thing for them to. After playing FGO for a while and going to play Genshin, I realized I was actually spoiled with FGO, and I had it better when I played Genshin and felt very underwhelmed by Genshin in a lot of areas. I think there's also, like, you guys know how, like, in modern gaming, we have this idea that, like, action games are superior to everything else, and if you don't play an action game, you're not actually playing a game. I think that same concept applies with regards to, like, you know, Genshin and it having, like, a 3D style as opposed to, like, FGO and it's, like, turn-based 2D style. I think, like, people look at FGO and they think the gameplay of FGO is bad. They think it's boring. They think it's just, like, you're not even playing a game. So easy. Which is always funny because the FGO easy argument makes me laugh a lot of the time. Not that, like, there aren't easy ways to deal with a lot of the things. There are. but it's still going to require you to actually execute it and use your brain. As opposed to like, you know, some of the other games, it's like, I press button and like you just win. So I hate the disrespect of turn-based RPGs. Yeah. No, I completely agree. There's also the whole weapon banner with the character's signature weapon. Yeah, I mean, so breaking that down, weapon banner being separate versus CEs. Which is better? So in a game like Genshin or Star Rail, and I assume Zenless, though I haven't seen much on Zenless's actual gacha system, you have a separate weapon banner, but you can still get basic ass weapons from normal rolls, right? So in that regard, you do still have like this sort of welfare type system, but do you want the best? Congratulations, you now must roll in a separate banner. So the idea to understand this and put this in FGO terms is, chat, whenever you roll the gacha, you also get craft essences. But now imagine if Black Grail, K-Scope, and several of the other best and most meta craft essences were not part of that. And instead, they were split out into their own rate-up banner that you had to roll for. And Pity worked the same way as it did with a normal servant. That's fucking rough, right? Like, I cannot imagine that. The upside is you can guaranteeably get the thing you really need. The downside is you literally have to roll just for that. So that's kind of oof, right? I don't like weapon banners. I think they're really, really scummy. But I also understand it's like, well, at least it's a guaranteeable way of getting something, and that is something FGO doesn't really have. You want a K-Scope? You want a Black Grail? Tough. Like, we did have a singular ticket one time for that. But besides that, nah, you ain't getting it. You can compensate. I'd argue it's much worse than HSR. Yeah, because HSR, let's be honest, chat, HSR's entire system is basically FGO. It's FGO run by MiHoYo is the way HSR goes. So it's different gacha scheme, no upgrades. That's basically the truth, right? You only need one weapon. You need 5-star Cs, so it doesn't translate quite perfectly. No, I'd say that's disingenuous. At least with the way you worded it. Because saying you only need one weapon is absolutely not true. Because you definitely need weapons across all of your characters. And they keep adding the most meta weapon for each character, right? Do you need them? I think needs relative. But if you want the quote unquote best in slot, you have to roll for all of them, right? In FGO, do you need multiple craft essences? Yes. However, craft essences are very interchangeable. You can just use them on everybody, right? I didn't say 5-star Cs. I mean to limit break them. Yeah, but you also have levels. You literally have limit breaking on weapons in those games. So that's the exact same system. And in fact, it's worse because it's almost like the Constellation versus Noble Phantasm, right? Like, you getting an extra copy of the weapon actually enhances its capabilities more than just like, hey, like, if you have K-Scope, you have 80% charge. You have 80% of the thing's effectiveness right there just from that. Getting 4 more copies of it gets you 100% charge. So 4 more copies enhance it 20%. Now, it's difficult for me to give you an example like over here with like the weapons in that regard, but I'm going to say this is not too bad. Ironically enough, where it's the worst. Okay. Chill, lady. Why are you so loud? Anyways. The thing I could say is like where it's the worst is on the like mana prism Cs, where like your first copy gets you 20% effectiveness and you need the other 4 to get 100%. Those suck, but they're at least free to play. So the refinement is just stats. That's literally you downplaying that. Just stats is damage, which is the entire reason that you're rolling for the weapon. Like, I hear what you're saying, right? I'm not going to say that, like, CEs don't also get better, but you can't just write this off as it's just stats. And some of them also have really beneficial effects for the units that they're on. Most of the best Cs in FGO are free welfare ones anyways. Yeah, I think that's another interesting point. Now, that's technically not part of FGO's system. That is just the devs choosing to be benevolent and literally give you 50% charge Cs that have like insanely good stats and effects. It's good. I'm glad they do that. That's really amazing. Because I think, honest to God, this is like their equivalent of just giving away like 5-star welfare craft essences constantly, right? Like it is just them being really, really benevolent. CEs, in their case, the strongest argument for the CE system being scummy in FGO is Black Grail and K-Scope. Really is. I think the other Cs are needed far less. They're far less impactful. The exception maybe being like a taunt C, but that's its own issue. And at least in both those cases, there are strong alternatives to both. There are also it's mostly just that like they're interchangeable and usable on literally every character in the game. Right? Like the second you get a Black Grail, it works on literally everyone. The exception being like a support unit that doesn't have an offensive NP. But it really, like, it just carries. So I think that's the shit thing for it. But it's definitely something that I've noticed with FGO over the years. So, like I said, I think the leg up for a weapon style system and weapon banners is that you can guarantee it. It's that, hey, if I need this thing, I can get it. As opposed to Black Grail and K-Scope, I'm very much stuck and like beholden to just luck. That is the shit part of FGO's system. So it's like there are replacements, there are good things that you can get. Not having one is not going to immediately gimp your character. But it is definitely like that is where, to me, the craft essence system and the way craft essences are handled absolutely trumps everything with weapons except that. Because you can guarantee a weapon that technically is one thing. So it's like, to me, the advantage would be like way over here for craft essence and the way they're handled, and one advantage over here. And we actually have a close alternative with that because you have the light cone system in HSR. Light cones are literally just craft essences. It's still better from a free-to-play point of view than having to roll another banner just for it. Well, that's what I've said. Like the idea of having like a weapon banner and like needing it is relative. You don't necessarily need the meta weapon in any of the MiHoYo games. That's actually like the trap that everyone falls for. I think a little bit MiHoYo games get people caught up in EPing way too much, and they don't actually need it. I do understand it's the same thing as like me going out and being like, hey, I want my NP5 Castoria because I love her. She's my waifu, right? Like, you have that in any gacha game. That's not a unique thing to FGO. That's not a unique thing to a MiHoYo game. But I think there's value in like, hey, I have a 4-star weapon. It is MLB. Is that good enough? And the answer is yes. Yes, it is. It really, truly is. Like, that's the trap that I've noticed is like, it's not that you can't play a MiHoYo game free to play. It's that people don't. Which is partly the design. I think that's just how they do it, right? Like, they encourage you not to be free to play. They encourage you to go for that. That is just smart and intelligent gacha design. That is how FGO tries to do it. But I have noticed FGO is very much a like, oh, you don't have the means, you don't have the money. That's cool. We're still just happy to have you. Here, take this. Have I seen the global passive debacle? Yes, kind of. So my understanding of it is that it is a unit that has come out like let's just chat. This is hilarious. Let's use Proto Merlin as the example. Why? Because the unit that has the passive, to my understanding, is Timu Proto Merlin. So, my understanding is that character has a passive. That passive is quote unquote global. That is, even when the character is not in your front line, even when the character is not even in the party, that passive applies to everyone. I don't know what the passive is because I frankly don't care about the game that much. So I never really looked into it too deep. However, what I did hear is that this is at least making a bunch of the Japanese crowd quit the game. I'm not sure what impact that's having on like the English speaking crowd. But for me personally, I guess it kind of depends on what it is. I also know that the unit is a gacha unit and not free to play. If this were on like a welfare unit, I don't give two shits. I literally do not give two shits if it's on a welfare unit. But with it on a gacha unit, like if it's like, hey, it's like 1% attack up, I'm like, okay, you know, that's not that big. But I think even when you start approaching like it's 5% attack up or it's 5% more health, I'm already just going, nope, that is scum. Okay? It's auto revive. So is it like a one-time revive for players? Oh, by the way, chat, go ahead. Tell everybody else in chat that doesn't play Honkai Star Rail, what's the name of the character? Oh, sorry, I misspelled it. So it's Timu Proto Merlin with a name that's absolutely mimicking Castoria. From a mystical land that begins with the letter A and is breaking their game. It is what it is. It's like that one, it just speaks for itself. I don't have to say more. Okay. They're collaborating with UVW. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to be even remotely surprised to watch them go like, hey, let's take Timu Gil and let's give him a Gilgamesh skin. But I don't know. Like, as to whether or not I think that is a scummy thing to do, yes. Yes, I do. Should people be upset over that? Yes. Yes, they should. If you are a free-to-play player, that is just a new level of scum. That is basically just them saying, hey, the amount of money we already make off the game is not enough. We know we have a battle pass. We know we have, like, you have to pay us for your login. We know that that you literally have to, like, go for a 6th copy of every unit more than any other gachas. We know that you have a pity system that is designed to be lower to extract money out of more of us. And somehow that's not enough. So now we have to create a new level of unit that has a global passive to get even more money out of you. I don't blame anyone. Chat, it was like right here, this was enough for me. That was enough to tell me I didn't really like how they were handling the game. Oh, and I forgot the weapon banner, right? So it's like this sort of thing is enough for me. It's why I don't really like how MiHoYo runs their games. So if this is the thing that gets people to be like upset finally at them and be like, hey, this is too much, good. Quit gacha games, enjoy true enlightenment. 8 months without FGO, my life couldn't be better. No gacha life is best life for me. Hey, honestly, to a degree, I agree with you. Like, I love FGO, okay? But I've told you guys before, I'm not a gacha player. Because, to me, there are 2 ways to play gacha. Way number 1. Free to play. Chat. You can play multiple gacha games free to play. You'll get your roll itch. You'll be able to scratch that. But that is going to eat up all of your time. You will literally be constantly beholden to the benevolence of the devs, of which there will be very little. And you will never get ahead of the whales. Ever. You will always be the, like, free-to-play slave. Okay? Way number 2. Whale. We don't have to say a whole lot here. If you whale in a gacha game, or multiple gacha games for that matter, congratulations. You'll be on the front end. But it will cost you. That's the issue with gacha games. Just in a nutshell. And then it's like, okay, well, Cad, then why do you play FGO? Because I like Fate. And I actually do enjoy the gameplay of FGO. I don't mind spending a little bit of money. But if all of a sudden, let's say FGO 2 came out, and they were like, hey, but we're still keeping FGO 1. I ain't whaling on 2 games. I ain't doing any of that shit, chat. And, like, frankly speaking, me being a whale, I don't have to whale that much anymore. Like, there is a like buy-in investment level where like now I have that, my account's really robust, so the only things I need to whale on are the things I want to whale on. There's nothing like my account actually needs. So at that point, I would sit there, it's like, oh, you've come out with another game, but you're still going to keep the current game alive. It's like, well, pick which one you want me to actually play. All right, I'm not going to play multiple. I'm not going to sit there and whale in multiple. It's too much. It's too demanding. It eats up too much of your life. It eats up too much of your bank account. It's not worth it. Right? I view FGO as a little bit of an entertainment value and expense. But after a point, I just go like, it's not worth that kind of money. I mean, frankly speaking, even for like the amount that I currently pay, it's not worth that amount of money. And part of the reason that I do is because I am a content creator. Full disclosure. I think Star Rail's dead at this point. I mean, I don't think it is. Like, I'm sure there are people that are pissed off, but if I've learned anything about MiHoYo games, it's MiHoYo games at their deadest are still way more like populous than a lot of other gacha games. But no, I in general would advise you guys, like, if you care about like the money, don't whale in these games. If you care about your time, stop playing so many of them. And if my words sound harsh and they make you want to like quit FGO, that's not necessarily my intention. But maybe that is for the better if it's something that you can't handle. And I think that's the truth, right? Like, I have actually told people over the years to quit. Not because I'm like some sort of like toxic individual or something, but because if somebody actually comes to me and they want help, I will give them the help that they need. If they're in a bad situation and they shouldn't be playing a gacha game, I will tell them that. I will literally just tell them that. Be like, nope. HSR quitters will come crawling for the next waifu, most likely. Probably. Let's be honest. That's sunk cost, right? Like, that is, it's the same thing with FGO. Like, people be like, oh my god, FGO's so bad. Oh, I hate FGO. Oh, but the new character, I love them. So it happens. When you're not doing FGO, do something and enjoy life. Easy as that. Yeah, I've told you guys this before. It's like, I think a lot of people... Oh, what? So I guess I can switch servers and the capture card fixes itself. That's interesting. How the content creators that quit for that quit came back before the patch came out. Yeah, that's easy to explain. Would you like me to explain that one? So, here, chat. Here is some toast. Here is MiHoYo. What's that? MiHoYo has a knife? Oh my god, what are they gonna do with it? And there's your butter. They know who is buttering their bread. It's the truth. And this is the other like issue with gacha games. You can try to be a content creator for multiple gacha games. Unless you already have a shit ton of money, it just does not work. The only way is if you instead make a name for yourself being a free-to-play content creator. Which you can. You can absolutely do that. But, like, that's the only way. Otherwise, if you're trying to play multiple gacha games, guess what's happening to your money? And you are not earning enough of it back to offset that. It is a losing proposition. They have multiple channels for different games. Yeah. I think that'd probably be the way you'd have to do it. Like, I mean, again, like you have like the people like Tectone out there that have done it. However, at least in like Tectone's case, not to like heap any praise upon him, but at least in his case, he bounced from game to game. He didn't stick around and play multiple at the same time, to my knowledge. So it's like, when you look at something like that, it's like it's easy to see how he was successful because he basically would start with one gacha game, move on to the next gacha game, move on to the next gacha game, move on to the next gacha game, and he just would keep doing it and he'd just keep growing. Because I think at that point, it's like if you're gonna try to sit there and like spend that amount of money and then do it in every single game, holy crap. Like that's a losing proposition. All right, hold on. So this is Okuni? Who's my CQ? It is permanent unremovable immobilization debuffs. Charms one enemy for one turn, reduces their skills cooldown by 1. Yuck. I just play FGO and nothing else. Yeah. And like, I'm not trying to like sit there and make you guys like quit all your gacha games or anything like that. But I am trying to like instill in you guys that like the more time you spend playing only gacha games, the more of your life you are wasting away. It may seem fun and enjoyable, but you're just losing out on the ability to ever experience anything else. So I think what a good, fulfilling life is a well-rounded life, one in which you get to experience a lot of things. And I think if you're just sitting there constantly playing gacha games and that's your entire life, it may not seem bad now, but I think you'll probably regret it in the end. What am I doing? Okay. Old reliable chat. Wait. I just saw it. I do have it. It does exist. There is another Prisma Cosmos on this account. I could have sworn that I had rolled one and I couldn't find it. Just looking for a backup option here. I play FGO, FGO&A, Genshin, Grand Blue Fantasy, Genshin Impact, and I'm a court employee. Listen, more power to you then, right? Like, I'm not trying to make you guys feel bad so much as me just trying to give you some sage advice of like, hey, maybe consider doing something else with some of that time. Kind of like ask yourself how much you need of like every single one of those games. Don't really have a good single target for this. I guess I could take a Berserker, but that's kind of spicy. You know what? When in doubt. Wait, hold on. How strong is she? She's okay. Actually. Let's actually just go take Ass Clap, put him in there. That way I have the cleanse. You have NP5 Draco? Too easy, though. You guys want me to use Draco? Is that what you guys want me to do? Nah, no. Wow. Wow. Use Spider. That just doesn't allow me to show off. Okay. Fine. We'll do it like this. Like, again, I don't think this one's going to be too difficult, but I also didn't look too much at the requirements of this CQ. Most of these CQs are not super hard. Like, it looks like she has charm and she's going to have special defense and get like NP charge, but that's kind of all I'm really seeing. Oh, it looks like there's a card mechanic here. Well, that's going to be interesting. Okay. Just basically going to see if I can brute force this either way. Now, can I tell what I have to do? It's a Buster card. Buster card. Buster card. So is it just one for each of them? I don't know. Let's see what happens when I don't do it. Let's see what happens when I don't use it at all. Good thing Avalon's not here. I'm pretty sure that's strategic. 5 damage? It's a little bit more than 5. Oh, look at that, chat. Whoops. 200%. Getting your double arts cards there is just kind of nutty, but that probably will not happen again. Ooh, okay. So now she's got a little bit more robust power there. Looks like right Castoria is charmed. She's getting kind of chunked. She did lose the Invul and Pierce, though, so might be able to get away with this for this turn. Man. I'm just stuck with all the worst possible cards here. What do I have? Quick? Are they all going to be quick? They're all quick. And I have no quick card. Excellent. So we get to find out again what happens if I just continue to fail this. I'm not going to have the charge based purely off refund, I suspect. So I probably need to sit on that. But then I don't think I necessarily bar pop here. Especially not with the defense up. Screw it. Send it. Can always go back and scuff and pop a Mystic Code here if I desperately have to. Ugh. Ugh. You know. Hold on. What do I actually have? Buster. So the problem is I'm going to lose my arts buff. So very unlikely that I actually kill. But you know what? Why don't I instead, since I know I'm not going to complete a 3-turn loop, let's basically just shore things up. What's the poll for? The poll is I'm going to be doing a video later on, so I'm just asking everybody if they could only pick one, who is their favorite servant? Yeah, I know it's difficult. I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, but CAD, what do you mean I can only pick one? What about a unit that has a summer version? And I'm like, it's too bad. You got to pick one. So it is what it is. All right, so we got the bar broken. Now she gets 3 times special defense. Let me see what that is. Okay, so it's like 25% each, so she has 75% damage reduction right now. Yeah, it's probably a good idea that I just kind of sat on this a little bit. Also, what do I need? Buster? I think we'll do something like that. We're basically just going to try to prioritize a little bit of charge here. So we Mighty Chained. Got a little bit more for Murasaki, but she gets to the NP anyways. Proto Merlin's almost there. Not quite. All right, so Okuni's ready to NP. We've got 2 stacks on her, 3 on her, and 4 on her. So we're still solid. Next turn's actually going to be the one where we lose everything. What do I need I need quick. Damn, because that arch chain be looking mighty fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put basically Castoria's last, but I just don't know that it's going to help too much. I'm still not NPing here, really. I know it seems like a waste, but quite honestly, there's just like those extra resistances are still tough, and I don't have buffs, so it's better to just wait until I do. We get to see the rare inverted Okuni buff. Okay. This is the first time you're seeing her NP? No, it's inverted because the enemy's doing it. So you don't get to see that very often. Isn't this just the 1 turn? It is. I'll go ahead and pop that at least. Get the arts up on her. And then this should start our loop. Should still be fine, but I'm a little bit worried about that crit damage modifier that she has right now. Might just waltz right up and take one of the supports. So you can see she still had one of the defense ups, and that was already right there, just enough to really like kind of mitigate that quite a bit. Oof. Spicy meatball. Okay. Now I can get that. Get that. Get that. Pop this. And I think we go Castoria NP to that. She has no more special resistances. This is definitely not a min turn, but it's a very safe way of handling this. My favorite isn't on there unless I passed it. You passed it. Angra? Angra not in there? Angra's on there. Yeah, I did Control F. What a time to come back. Listen. Listen, Avalon. I tried to get it done while you were gone, okay? But it happens. I had to do the CQ. Yeah, that was not a difficult one. Obviously, if you're trying to 3-turn that would be a lot harder because of the special resistances and just the health values at play there. I also went arts comp, so I went relatively safe. You can see she dealt a little bit of extra damage, but yeah, it's nothing too terrible. If you didn't have a single target Rider, I'd advise something like a single target Alter Ego or a single target Berserker. Both those would work out perfectly fine for you. Again, it doesn't have to be arts, so you know you can feel free to use units like Melt or Bazette. You know, anybody that's just going to be sitting there able to like counter Izumo quite a bit. Sorry, Okuni. So definitely not too bad of a CQ. Lartoria's buffed, who is the worst saber face. I find that question insulting because Lartoria wasn't the worst saber face. And so as a result, I'm just not going to answer it. Last bar is a massive hurdle for TAs. Oh, I'm sure. Like that's like 75% damage mitigation is no joke, right? That's just a rough thing all around. My Chaldea has no bad saber faces, Kaiba. Exactly. Exactly, chat. Ah, see, Creamy's right. Also, wait, what do you mean Anger's your favorite, Creamy? Hold on. Hold on. But I never see you use him. Why not? Okay, so we're gonna be doing media share night now, chat. It's been a while since I've done one. You guys know I've been pretty busy, but I wanted to kind of like relax tonight, so I figured that'd be a good idea. YouTube chat. Now, the second channel is not monetized. So in theory, there's no harm from me streaming this. However, I did do this before. And that particular stream got copyright claimed to all hell and back. So I love you guys, but I will have to end the YouTube side of stream. Feel free to come on over to the Twitch side if you guys haven't already. But yeah, it's just one of those where it's like I can't. YouTube will just absolutely pair me a new one, and in the hopes of getting the channel monetized. As much as I want to do that for you guys, I don't think I can, because I think they will literally like skin me alive. But there's the link if any of you guys want to join us. And like I said, thank you guys for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow on you guys' end, but we're going to be doing some media share and reacts. So hope to see you guys over here. And if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.